Dancing Assassin. Tornado Tonion. It's an onion. This boss is an onion. It's a lightning onion. It's goddamn... it's a fucking onion.
This stage is the worst fucking stage.
Which blows my mind, because it's a spiral staircase. And the first one in the series, might I add, that actually doesn't look like garbage. And yet, it's the worst one.
Yeah, now imagine all of those one-hit kill rescue reploids strewn all along this thing as bullshit comes down.
Exactly. And there's still ones that we need to pick up that we were still failing to get multiple times. And those, so, like, right there, there are instances in our practice runs, or, like, when we were trying to record, where I'd be going forward, and I'd see it, and then it'd just be like, hand missile! And it would just land right on top of it. It's like, but why? Like, why any of this? Why are you making this so horrifying? Like, how did nobody playtest it to be like, this is a problem, you guys. We should not be doing this.
Like, you need to run fast so the buzzsaws land behind you, but you also need to slow down so if one spawns, the fist isn't coming down or the fire isn't coming down.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like this really horrible balancing act of just like, what do you expect me to, like, that run, no joke, was just luck. Because it all came down to that. Like, you know where they are, you know when they're going to spawn, you know what they're going to give you, but because of the boss RNG, you literally cannot anticipate what's going to happen.
And, like, even then, half the time, we'd get to that top round, and one of those two at the end was dead, off-screen, and we never saw him.
Yeah, and, like, there were attacks that didn't even look like they were close, but there would still, it would just be a thing.
So, the trick to this boss is don't fucking move, pretty much.
Yeah, which I do end up doing, but we found out, and it's not perfect, but it's close enough, that he'll rotate in such a way where he'll come back out of his shell at about the same spot where he went in, which is good, because if he's too far away from you, he'll just go back into the shell and start that again, and you can't damage him when he's in this state.
Yeah, so, like, chasing him around is just going to wear down your health, because it'll just keep doing this bullshit.
Yeah. And what you can do is switch to Axel, which I didn't bother doing because I can tank so much damage that it didn't matter. You switch to Axel and then combat roll under the blades, or if you've got Zero for whatever reason, you can double jump over them. There's lots of options to do it. Also, in the irregular version, I think I point out a bug that's like, I'm right in the middle of where two of the swords come out, so if like they're coming out at 245-degree angles, I'm right in the center of the screen, and it looks like they were hitting me. I think what was happening in that is I was getting hit by a missile that I wasn't focusing on, or like the lingering hitbox of one. I can't be certain. I wouldn't put it past the game to be bad about that kind of thing.
Meanwhile, fantastic enemy design here. Stationary radar dishes, and dudes that jump in place.
Yeah. They, this is all really real problems, though. The issue with this section is that there's a lot of enemies that move in three-dimensional space while you're locked on a 2D plane. The aim assist is already temperamental as it is, so those on their own are bad. In X8, shots will bend around the movement plane that you are moving on to. Sometimes, like, I think. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But it's all designed around not being terrible. In this one, because it's a perfect curve, you can only fire straight. So if there are enemies that you're trying to hit far off and you're not aiming at them, you literally can't hit them with anything because there's just no way to get the correct angle. And it also means you can't sweep lines of the batons or like sweep those radar dishes because you'll lock onto one, you'll hit it, maybe a second one, but then it'll keep traveling straight. So you have to keep stopping and locking onto the next thing, and it's only because it's a giant radial movement path. And it's just so infuriating that after a while, I just stopped bothering to fight it. Because it's not that they're hard, it's not that I'm not doing enough damage, it's just that it's taking so long to lock. Yeah, like right here, it's just like, I don't care anymore.
And just fuck it, let's drop 3 rescue reploids right there, and one of those has a fucking power-up chip, so if you made it this far without X yet, you gotta jump over one of them, grab the second one.
And then there's all these ones where if you're not jumping and like just foregoing damage or knowing where things are going to spawn to shoot in time, those batons will fly right through them and kill them right away. Because contact damage does it too, it's not just projectiles. So it's just like, this is the simplest stage, and yet somehow it is the worst one to go through. Also this. So I fell right through it. Just directly through that heart tank, and I didn't pick it up because I didn't jump first when it was out of the intangible block, which, by the way, fuck you for putting it there. Like, that is just literally like, oh, you can get it, but then you have to fall down and do this shit again. It's like, it's fine if it's not a disappearing block puzzle, but make it part of the jumps, not falling back down between floors. Like, why? And then, that's a double fall, so now I have to go up 2 stories again, and it's just, you didn't need to make this way. It's not harder. I just hate you.
Basically, if you ever want to make a game, play X7 and learn.
Yeah, just do the exact opposite of everything that it does.
There is no single fucking game design thing in this entire thing that I would be like, yes, copy that. That's good. Do this.
Or if there's anything that's even remotely close, it's all just brought back in the infinitely better X8 and just play and copy X8.
It's just so bad.
It's frustrating. Like, my jaw hurts right now. Maybe it's TMJ, I have no idea, but... And it's just like, why? These are stationary hazards, why are they popping in? Why is anything popping in? Like, the draw distance is there, you can see the rest of the level, but then you immediately realize that in stages like this, that would mean that the rescue Reploids would be endangered the whole time. So it's like, you either A, have good draw distance and no enemy pop in, but everything is infinitely more difficult, or B, you have it like this, and it's terrible. Also, hey, look, it's a clown that wants to die.
UBX! I ask you a favor, yes? Stop us! Stop Red Thief, yeah? What?
Good response.
It's Professor! Professor Redesigner!
Professor!
No longer...
Professor? Who the heck is that?
Good question.
We don't control! Please save us! We're becoming something else!
So, with all the ham-fistedness of ambiguous performing dancing lightning onion,
The professor is fucking Sigma.
yeah. So basically this is the reveal of like, oh, Sigma's like turning the Red Alert Reploid's Maverick, because big fucking surprise, of course he is. And so that whole speech is supposed to be kind of like the ones from X5, where it's like, please cooperate. Yeah, no, I'll help out. Oh, no, I'm a bad guy now. Which, like, in those, it's not great, but it's present. Like, they clearly thought about what they were doing, but this one is just like, Tonion sounds like he's in complete control of himself. He's just like, please kill me. Like, this is the bad thing that's happening. Hey, this is really important. And then just starts fighting you anyway with, like, no shift in tone at all. It's just like, oh, this is great. Like, let's help me. Kill me. I wish to die.
It could be like he's aware of what's happening, but can't.
But that isn't what the Maverick virus has ever done, though.
I know.
Like, that's the thing, is that would be fine, but that's just like, they're being remotely controlled, and that's fucking stupid. Like, also at this point, because it's the last Maverick I'm fighting, I'm just trying out some weakness weapons. There's Explosion.
Yeah, some stuff. Hey, going fucking back. Fucking Frankenstein-ass Sigma in this game is the Professor.
Yeah.
Just holy fuck, and that's his actual weakness weapon. It's the shield. The
Yeah.
shield is his weakness weapon.
We'll cover more of the weakness stuff in the refights. We don't worry about it right now. You want to talk more about your favorite best buddy, the Professor?
Just why? I can't. The name and the images used do not go together in any way, shape, or form. I cannot fathom Sigma pretending to be any sort of man of science in any way, shape, or form.
You know what would have made this way better? And this is going to be a component of my long-running, I want to do, like, a what if the X storyline was consistent and good video. If, A, the game was better, so that we wouldn't be wasting it, but B, the Professor's Gate. The actual goddamn scientist antagonist we had literally one game ago. It's gotta be Sigma. It couldn't possibly be a next game without Sigma, though. Everybody would be confused otherwise. Not that in this instance, they wouldn't already be confused about not being able to play as X in an X game when X is on the cover and shown in the box art in the intro stage, which is literally impossible, by the way.
Also, this UI is really fucking ugly.
Yeah, so it's also shitty. It's not intuitive at all. There are instances where it expects you to advance, but does not prompt you to do so in any way, even with a little flashing X icon down on the bottom. And everything is super cyclical, so, like, do you want to save? Yes. Do you want to keep saving? No, just go back. Okay, do you want to go back to the boss select screen since you just beat that boss? Yes.
Do you want to do the stage again?
Are you sure? Yes! Like, this is another instance of, like, how did you get this so wrong? Because this isn't even 3D. Just use the UI from the last game, like, with new assets over it. We won't give a shit. Like, it just has to functionally be the same. Somehow, you changed all of the functionality on the stuff that doesn't need to be any different for any reason. Like, nothing is different about any of this. It's just worse. It's just inexplicably worse than it used to be. And, like, how? Like, even if you have a new UI designer, you still have 7 games before this. 8. Just...
Okay,
it's...
everybody. That's point RD-1866, the location of Red Alert's base.
There's a read here.
Why has it suddenly shown up on our radar screens? It's as if they wanted us to find it.
God, there's an Alia read coming up that's just like, you sure about that?
Be on full guard. X0. Axel is in your hands.
Great.
I know. Okay,
God damn it.
Let's go. Let's get this
Stop
party.
reminding
I know, I love that. He's just like, I know, and then just right back to normal stuff.
I just love X so much in this game.
I don't want to fight, but we must hurry. I can't allow them to claim any more victims.
And that is exactly X's characterization. Is he wants to be a pacifist, but he can't be. And that's what makes it such a beautiful characterization, is like, he's not wimpy, he'll fight if he needs to, he just doesn't want to. There's a huge difference.
I'll be there to put an end to this.
Great, because we're not worried about Red.